What if I told you the entire world was once wiped out by water, except for one man and an ark? This is the story of Noah's Ark. In the early days of
The
humanity,
earth was full of life. Green valleys stretched across the land, rivers flowed with abundance, and humanity multiplied across the world. Families grew, cities formed, and people lived and worked together under the light of the sun. But as the generations passed, something began to change. The hearts of people turned away from what was good. Violence spread through the land. Corruption filled the earth. What was once beautiful became broken. And God saw it all. He saw the wickedness of humanity, how every thought and intention of the human heart had become filled with evil, and his heart was deeply grieved. Yet, in the midst of a dark and fallen world, one man stood apart. His name was Noah. Noah walked with God. He lived differently. While others chose corruption, Noah chose righteousness. And because of this, he found favor in the eyes of the Lord. God spoke to Noah. He revealed that a great flood would come upon the earth, a flood that would cleanse the world of its corruption. But God also made a way of rescue. He gave Noah a command: build an ark. It would be a great vessel, made of wood, strong enough to endure the waters that would cover the earth. It would carry Noah, his family, and living creatures of every kind. And Noah obeyed. Day after day, year after year, Noah worked faithfully. He gathered wood, shaped beams, and built the ark just as God had instructed. His sons worked beside him, lifting heavy timbers, preparing for something no one else believed. Around them, people watched. Some laughed, some doubted, others ignored him completely. But Noah continued because he trusted God. And then the day came. The ark stood complete, massive, towering above the land. Animals began to arrive. From every direction they came, pairs of every kind, great and small, wild and gentle, moving toward the ark as if guided by an unseen hand. Noah and his family prepared everything inside. Food was stored, spaces were arranged, every detail was in place. Then they entered the ark, and the door was shut. The sky grew dark, thunder rolled across the heavens, and then the rain began. At first it was a steady fall, but soon the skies opened wide. Rain poured down without stopping. The fountains of the deep burst forth, and water rose from beneath the earth. The flood had begun. Waters covered the land. Villages disappeared beneath the rising tide. Hills vanished. Mountains were swallowed as the waters climbed higher and higher. The world was covered. But above the chaos, the ark floated. Inside there was safety. Animals rested. Noah and his family waited. Outside the storm raged. Waves crashed. Lightning split the sky. But inside the ark, there was peace. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. And then, God remembered Noah. A wind began to blow across the earth. The storm clouds started to part. The endless rain slowed, and the waters began to recede. Slowly, the flood gave way. The ark came to rest upon the mountains of Ararat. Inside, Noah waited. He opened a window and released a raven. It flew back and forth across the waters. Then he sent out a dove. The dove returned, finding no place to rest. But days later, Noah sent it out again, and this time it came back with something remarkable: an olive leaf in its beak, a sign of new life, a sign that the earth was healing. Finally, the time came. God spoke to Noah once more. Come out of the ark. Noah, his family, and every living creature stepped onto dry ground. Before them lay a world made new. The air was fresh, the land was renewed, life would begin again. And the first thing Noah did was worship. He built an altar to the Lord and gave thanks for his mercy. And God made a promise: never again would a flood destroy the entire earth. As a sign of this covenant, God placed a rainbow in the sky, a reminder of his mercy, a reminder of his faithfulness. From Noah's family, the earth was filled once more. Nations began to grow. People spread across the land, carrying the story of what had happened. A story of judgment, a story of rescue, and a story of hope. Because even when the world was filled with darkness, God made a way. Even when humanity failed, God remained faithful. And the same God who preserved Noah through the storm is the God who still brings hope to the world today.